explaining you about the remote access VPN of Palo Alto Firewall. So normally we use remote access VPN in order to connect remote workers, because let's say you have some certain people who are working from home, so they need to connect to this corporate network in order to perform certain activities. Like let's say they need to connect to the database server. Sometimes they need to connect to the ERP server. Sometimes they need to connect to their own PC in the office. So in that case, we are using remote access VPN. Remote access VPN means it's in Palo Alto it is called Global Protect. So that's what I'm going to configure here. So let me give you some overall idea using a diagram. Let me open my whiteboard here. Okay, here let me get the pen. Here I think okay, let me get the pen. Let's say here you have your head office. Let's say this is your head office. I'm going to give you some basic idea about this, what is this remote access VPN is. So here let's say this is your head office. Please please forgive me about these drawings, because I'm not that much capable of drawing things. So here this let's say this is your head office. Okay, and this is your head office, and let me change the color. So let's say you have a firewall. Let me get the red color. So here you have a firewall here. Let's say this is your Palo Alto firewall. This is your Palo Alto firewall in the head office or the corporate branch, or the corporate head office, not branch. And this is PA. This is Palo Alto. And let me write the heading here. This is remote access VPN. Actually, when it comes to VPNs, we have two types. We have site-to-site VPN, and also we have remote access VPN. So site-to-site VPN means when we connect to networks, like let's say you want to connect to the head office and the branch office through the internet. So then you can use IPsec VPN or the site-to-site VPN. That is called IPsec VPN or the site-to-site VPN. Here this is called remote access VPN. But previously we call this as SSL VPN, but SSL is a technology, right? It's a secure socket layer, but here sometimes we use IPsec as well. So actually this the correct term is remote access VPN. So in Palo Alto, this remote access VPN implementation is called let me write the name here. The remote access VPN implementation within the Palo Alto is called Global Protect. Within the Palo Alto, it says let me write here. It says Global Protect, the name of the remote access VPN implementation within the Palo Alto firewall. Global Protect. I'm sorry. One moment, let me erase it. Okay. Global Protect. Okay, so this is the parallel implementation of remote access VPN, because when it comes to remote access VPN, it is a common thing for any network. So let's say you use Checkpoint, let's say you use FortiGate, let's say Firepower, so whatever the firewall you are using, you can have this remote access VPN. But within the Palo Alto firewall, we have this remote access VPN. The name is the Global Protect. Okay, so then let me explain this. Here, let's say you have a remote worker. Let's say a remote worker. Let's say you have so many remote workers. One from let's say Australia, someone from Australia. Let's say the head office is in US, United States, and here's a few remote workers from Australia, and another set of people from, let's say, India. So from India, so let's say this is also one of the remote workers, and they need to connect to your head office resources, like let's say within your head office. Let me change the color. So let me give the red color. So here, let's say you have a database server within your head office. In this whiteboard, somewhat difficult for me to identify the cursor. Yeah. Okay. Here you have, let's say, within your head office, you have a database server, and let's say you have a ERP server, and let's say you have some, let's say some kind of a development server. You have these kind of many things within your head office, and let's say your PC, let's say one of the remote access VPN user needs to connect to his PC, so that is also a resource within the head office. So then these users are connecting to the Palo Alto Global Protect or the remote access VPN in order to access these resources, PC, database, and ERP and development server through the internet in secure manner. Because if you are going to, let's say, let me give you an example. Sometimes you may think why we need a remote access VPN. If that head office network is going to be allow us to connect to the remote desktop using a public IP, so then we can connect. But the problem is actually you are connecting to your PC using our RDP, the remote desktop protocol through the internet. So there can be some interceptions can be happen. So some malicious people may get certain sensitive information can be intercepted. So in order to prevent that, we use remote access VPN because it's a secure connection actually. So in that case, you have to use this. So the people from Australia is connecting to the head office using remote access VPN, and people from India also connecting to this head office using remote access VPN. So actually, the remote access VPN is the global protect. So I think you got the idea. So in this case, actually, in all these remote workers or the remote access VPN users have agents, because when it comes to global protect we have an agent. So the agent should be installed within their PC, and then they can use their username and the password, and they can connect to this firewall, and they can have the access to this PC, database, ERP, or whatever development server, so that access can be gained. So actually that is the overall idea about remote access VPN. So keep in mind that when it comes to Palo Alto implementation of remote access VPN, the name is global protect. Okay, so let's start the configuration now. Okay, so then log into the firewall. We are going to start the global protect configuration or the remote access VPN configuration within the Palo Alto firewall. So here I have my firewall here. So the initial step is to configure the global protect portal actually, because actually when it comes to Palo Alto firewall, we have two things. Let me get the whiteboard here. Okay, so here we have when it comes to global protect, Palo Alto global protect, we have two components that should be configured. The first component is the global protect portal. Global protect portal. And the gateway. Global protect gateway. Global protect gateway. Okay, these are the two things that should be configured. So let me show you how to configure the global protect portal first. So here let me go to a network tab, and you can see now my public facing interface is 192.168.1.203. So actually we need to use this interface in order to configure the global protect portal and the gateway, because actually this is the interface that is visible to users, right? Because here actually, since we are implementing this within this environment, VMware workstation environment, actually this is a private IP. But when it comes to production environment, sometimes you may have a public IP here, so then users can use that IP in order to connect to this global protect portal. But here we'll use the private IP, no problem. Okay, so then let me type this IP 192.168.1.203 in the browser. So then you should not get any interface, but once we configure the global protect portal, we should be able to get the global protect portal. So let me type 192.168.1.203 and it should be HTTPS. I should not get any interface here. See, no, I'm not getting anything here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to configure the GlobalTech portal. So in that case, actually, one moment. Let me move this toolbar. Okay, here when it comes to this network tab, we have the Global Protect section here. So the first part is the portal. Here you can see this connection was interrupted. So actually we can't connect here. And this is the portal. So let me click add here. And I'm putting just the name, let's say GP. You can use whatever the name. And this section I had to select the interface that I'm using for the GlobalTech portal. As I already said that I'm going to use the Ethernet interface, that is 1/1 here, and the IP address, that is 1.203, and this is totally fine, the letter section. And authentication, actually here I had to create a certificate and a certificate profile. So I think it's better if I can directly go to certificate management, and I'll show you. Let me cancel it here so we can come to portals later. So let me go to devices and let me go to certificates. So actually what we have to do is we have to let me go to whiteboard and explain this. What we have to do is here we need a SSL certificate or the TLS certificate actually. So in that case, here the thing is, let me change the color here. Let me get to color. Oh yeah, okay, no problem. So here we have to have a server certificate first. Server certificate. Server certificate. Because actually, when people users are connecting to the VPN, so we use this certificate. We have to install that certificate within the firewall, within the portal. And the thing is, actually, the server certificate, actually we have two options. One option is we can just take a certificate from certificate authority. So then the certificate is a trusted certificate. This certificate, because it is going to be signed by a certification trusted certificate authority. And the second option is we can have we can create a CA certificate within the firewall, self-signed certificate actually within the firewall, and then we can use this CA certificate which is going to be created within the firewall to sign our server certificate, server cert, cert. So actually, since at this moment we do not have self certificate authority signed certificate, we are going to use this second option. So that is, we are going to create a certificate authority certificate, so OCA certificate, and then we are creating a server certificate by signing using this certificate, this one. Okay, so then what we have to do is we have to install the CA certificate within the user's computers, because otherwise this server certificate is not trusted because it is not signed by a trusted certificate authority. So that's it. Because actually sometimes in production environments also we use that, but the thing is actually the security that we are providing is the same as the signing a certificate using a certificate authority or the third party trusted certificate authority. But the only problem is the scalability, because the problem is let's say you have few users who are using Global Protect, then you can just share this CA certificate. Because otherwise if you have thousands of users, it is somewhat difficult for you to share this CA certificate. So but otherwise, if you can share the CA certificate, you can use this way. So that means you are creating a CA certificate within the firewall, and then you are creating a server certificate by signing using that previously created CA certificate. That is the option that we are going to follow. But otherwise, if you can purchase a certificate, so then you can go ahead and you can create a certificate signing request, CSR, from the firewall, and then you can send that CSR to trusted certificate authority, and you can get the certificate which is signed by the trusted certificate authority. So in that case, you can just install. No, you do not have to install anything within your remote workers PC. because the server certificate is trusted by their PC, because that is from a trusted certificate authority. So that's the thing. So then now we are going to use the second option, since we do not have a certificate obtained from a certification authority. Let me go to firewall, and here let me go to certificates, the certificates section, and let me generate a one. Now I'm going to create a CA certificate, so I'm putting the name CA cert, and the common names here for the CA certificate, the common name is not a problem, because we can put anything. When I'm creating the server certificate, I'll tell you, because it's important. Okay, I'm putting this just a CA certificate, and then signed by, I'm not going to put anything here, because this is the certificate authority certificate. I have to put the check mark here, and here the algorithm, number of bits, and digest and duration, that is okay. And here this type, let's say country, I'm putting let's say Canada. And here state and all those things, let me put organization here, that is let's say my one our life. And actually those things are enough for the CA certificate. So let me click generate. Before clicking generate, let me showcase certificate type should be local, and certificate name you can put whatever the name, and common name put whatever the name, since this is certificate authority certificate. And you have to put the certificate authority option here, and then you can put a few fields here, and let me generate. Okay, now one moment, actually I had to connect my power connector, my battery is low. Okay, so then now our CS certificate is fine. So now I'm creating this server certificate. Let me let me click generate, and the certificate name, let's say global product cert, GP cert, and common name. Actually this is important, because actually here we have to use the exact name that the users are putting into the browser. Let's say if you're putting this 192.168.1.203, so then you have to put it here, because common name should be matched from the certificate perspective, and also the user perspective, browser perspective, because from the browser the user is putting this, so the same name should be populated here. But here let's put some mapping to map this name to the IP to the name. Let's say we need to use gp.firelife.com. Actually I have a DNS, but I think it is easy for us to change our host file. So let me get the host file here. Let me get, because I have to get the run as administrator, because otherwise I can't change the host file. Let me go to operating system and system Windows, and then we have to go to system 32, and here the folder is drivers, and here etc, and let me change this to all files, and here host. Okay, here I can put okay, if life file life. Okay, let me put this IP should be 203. Let me gv.flife.com. Okay, otherwise I can put mylife.com. Sorry, firewalllife.com. Okay, gp.firewalllife.com. Okay, this is my the FQDN that I'm going to use for the global protect, and I'm doing the DNS resolution here using this host file. So when I put this name into the browser, it is going to be resolved to this IP, because since I'm doing a testing using, the not a production environment, I'm just putting this lab environment within my PC using virtual VMware workstation. Okay, let me close it, and let me go here, let me put the command name here, gp.firelife.com, and here sign by, I should select my previously CS certificate, because actually I'm signing this certificate using my previous CS certificate. So in that case, actually I have to install the CS certificate. the CA certificate within all the users PCs. I mean the users who are accessing Global Protect. I had to install this CA certificate in the Trusted Certificate Authority folder. I'll show you how to do it. And here I can select the country, let's say Canada. And also here let me put the organization life, and then let me select. And here another important thing, you have to put this hostname field, because yeah, that's yeah, hostname field, because actually this is called subject alternative name. This is important because when it comes to Chrome, it is looking for this name, because actually previously all the browsers check only this common name. If the common name within the certificate is matching the name which is the user is inserting into the browser, if those two are matching, so then previously it was okay, but now this the Chrome is checking this hostname as well. So in that case, we'll put the same thing here, gp.filelife.com, and that is enough. Now I'm generating the sub certificate. Now it's done, because you see that it is under this CA certificate, because actually this is signed by using the CA certificate. Let me click here. See, it's getting it's under this certificate, CA certificate. Okay, if I'm going to open it, you can see issuer is this CA certificate. Okay, so now let me go back to the network tab, and let me go to the portals. Let me create the portal here. I'm putting just the name GP, and the interface, this interface, and the IP is this. Okay, so now it's fine. Actually, the appearance, those things you should not have to change. And let me go to authentication, and here I need to have a SSL TLS service profile, so where we can select our certificate. Let me click here, and let me put the name. I'm putting just the GP for everything. You can use whatever the name you like. And certificate, here I'm going to select the not the CA certificate but the GP, that is a service certificate. I'm going to use a GP cert, and min TLS version 1.0, that is fine. Max version max. Okay, let me click OK. Now it's fine. And here client authentication means actually I had to select the authentication profile, because when users are connecting the remote access VPN or the global tech, users should be prompted with the username password prompt. So then users has to provide the username and the password. Here we are using as the first part, we are using only the local database. So then we'll go for the Active Directory authentication, and also we can do the client side certificate authentication as well. We'll do those things later. Within this demonstration, I'm showcase using a local user database. I'm putting this authentication profile as GP. You can use whatever the name. And here I have to create the authentication profile. Here I'm clicking here, and I'm putting GP, and type is should be local database, and that's the case. And also we have to go to advanced, and we have to select whoever the users within the local database are going to have the access to the global protect. Here I'm putting this all, but if you want to selected users to allow global protect access from your local database, so then you can select whatever the usernames here. So then it's fine, and let me click OK, and OK, that's fine. So then I had to go to this portal data connection, that is not important, and you have to go to agent section. Click here, and I'm adding agent configuration here. I'm putting GP. Within this window, actually this is the only important thing for the moment. And here also you do not have to click anything, because here the operating systems and user groups and all can be selected here, but I'm not going to select it here. And I have to go to internal, not internal, external tab. Here I have to configure the gateway. So gateway is the second part of the global protect configuration. So to actually from the portal, users are getting all the available gateways, and users are actually connecting to the gateway. Once they come to the gateway, they can access whatever the allowed resources through the firewall. And I'm clicking add. Here I'm putting let's say gateway GP, and here I'm putting my FPDN that our users are using, gp dot I think it is copied, right? Yeah, gp.firelife.com. And I can select whoever the users are allowed to connect to the this global protect. I'm putting any. If you want to allow certain countries, like let's say you want to allow only Canada, you can put Canada here. If you want to allow Canada in India, you can put Canada in India here. So then only those users can connect to the global protect portal. Okay, and now let me click OK. Actually not portal, gateway. Let me click OK. Those are the only thing you need to configure for the Global Protect portal actually. So let me click OK, and here also I'm clicking OK, and let me commit and check whether I can get the window. I mean the Global Protect window. I told you that when I use the this IP, actually now I'm not going to use this IP. I'm going to use the gp.firelife.com, that is the FQDN for the Global Protect. So once I enter that into the browser, I should get the Global Protect portal interface. So let's see whether we are getting the interface. uh, okay, it's 99% completed. Let's wait 1% to be okay. It's done. So let me try to get the portal here. It should work. See, now I'm getting the interface here. It says your connection is not private, because actually since my certificate is not trusted, so here I'm getting this window. But I can just go to advanced and I can just proceed to gp.firelife.com that way. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to showcase uh, okay, no, okay, let's go like that. So then after that I'll showcase, because actually I told you that we have to install the CA certificate within the client's certificate, trusted certificate authority store, because that is important. Because for the browser we can just proceed to the GPA this portal and we can continue. See, now I can go to the Global Protect portal, no problem. But the problem is when we use the Global Protect gateway here, gateway, not gateway, agent. So then we have to have that certificate installed. Otherwise, this agent is not going to allow us to connect to the remote access VPN. Okay, so what we can do is here another thing. In order to log into this, actually I need a user. I forgot to create a user. So in order to do that, I had to go to device tab, and here you can see users, and let me add a user here. Let's say I'm adding user Mahesh, and password, I'm putting my password here. Okay, so let me click OK. And also I need to do another thing, because I'll showcase that later. Let me commit now, because now I have the user, so then I should be able to log into the Global Tech portal here. But you see that I have a certificate issue here, but I will fix it after this. Let's wait. Now we created the user. Okay, now it's done. So let me go here. Let me try to log in. I'm using user Mahesh, and okay. So let me log in. Now see, now I'm logged in. So then from the portal, actually you can download the Global Protect agent. But here we'll get an error. So let me try to download. See, it says error text file. We just got a text file. So I'll tell you why. Let me open, because within the text file also I think we should be able to get the error. The reason for this error text. Okay. Could not find file. So that's error. That means within the firewall, actually we have to download the Global Protect agent first, because once we download the agent from the update server, Palo Alto update server into the firewall, so then the users can download that this file, the Global Protect agent, from the firewall. Actually, when we click this link, so we are getting this Global Protect agent from the firewall. But the problem is actually within the firewall here in the device tab, the Global Protect client section, actually we don't have any client here. Actually we have this, but we haven't downloaded it yet. So what we can do is we can download let's say we want to enable this client, because actually we can get the whatever the compatible client from the Palo Alto network support. We can ask them, or from the internet we can search according to our paranoid version. We can select the the supported version. For the moment, let me download this version. So I'm downloading it into the firewall. So then I have to activate it in within the firewall. So then we can download it from here, because actually the users are getting this Global Protect agent through the firewall, not directly from the Palo Alto networks updates over the software server. So let's wait. It takes some time to get this downloaded. We'll wait. Till that, I think you can we can close it here. So not cancel. If you're going to cancel, the download is going to be cancelled. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just close the window. So after that, you can go to this top, not top, bottom right corner. You can see the task window and you can see the download, and you can open the detail view. And let me go back to this because till it's getting downloaded, I think it's better if you can revise you the steps that you need to uh, do in order to configure the GovProtect portal. So the first thing is you have to do is you have to go to certificates, and you have to create a CA certificate, and then you have to create a server certificate using the CA certificate. So that's it. So then you have to go to network tab, and you have to go to portals, and within the portal, actually here you have to put a name here, and you have to select the interface that can be used, that is being used, that should be used for the Global Protect portal, because actually users should access this interface in order to get the portal. So we are using this 1/1 interface, and then you can go to authentication, and here we are having a TLS service profile. I mean, within the profile, I think you can remember that we use our server certificate, which is created in the previous step, and then we are going to client authentication section, and we are using this authentication profile we created, and we are using the local database as the certificate, as the authentication profile. And then we have to go to agent section, and in the agent section we have to create an agent configuration. We are just putting the name only in this page, and we have to go to then the external tab, and we have to configure the gateway, the gateway name, or the FQDN that is used for the gateway, that is gp.firelife.com, and this address type should be FQDN because we are using FQDN. You can even use the IP address here. Actually, those are the things you have to do. And then we went to this the users section, and we created the one user for within the local database. That's it. So now we try to access, we can see the portal, and let me check whether we are done. No, still 25%. But the thing is, actually we got this error, that is certificate error, because actually problem is when the browser checks the certificate, the service certificate which we created within the firewall, it's not a trusted one, because actually this is signed by the CA certificate, which is not a actually trusted certificate authority, because this is the certificate authority which is created within the firewall. But when it comes to trusted certificate authorities, we have VeriSign, we have GoDaddy, and we have Google, and we have Cloudflare, we have previously we have Thote, but I think now it's DigiCert. I guess we have DigiCert, we have Komodo, we have so many trusted certificate authorities. So where they provide us certificates by signing. So then when the when you use access that web server or the VPN or whatever, so then the browser trusts this certificate because it is signed by this trusted certificate authority. But here we use our own trusted certificate, our own CS certificate authority or certificate authority. So in that case, actually we have to download this certificate, and we have to import it into the machine. So then only our machine is going to trust this certificate. But for the moment it says not secure, because if you're going to check here, your connection is to the site is not secure. If certificate is not valid, if you're going here, it says not valid because it is not trusted. Okay. So let me go back to the firewall and check whether it is done. No, it's 53%. So we had to wait some time. And I think it's better if I can, pause the video and come back. Okay, now let's check it again. I think it's done. Okay, it's done. Okay, it's downloaded. So let me go back to this Global Protect section, device tab, Global Protect client. And we can see that this activate button. So let me activate it. Okay, so it won't take that much time. Okay, now it's activated. So let me go here and let me try to download. Now it should download. And see, now we can download the Global Protect agent here. So then let me cancel, because actually I already have the agent. So now that's it. So then now let's go for the the gateway configuration. So let me close it here. Yeah, after that only we'll try to install the certificate, because actually I need to showcase certain things within the GlobalTech agent when we do not have this trusted certificate, since we have some certificate, but we have CA certificate. So then we can install that CA certificate within our machine, so then we can make it trusted. So before installing the certificate, I need to configure the gateway. So let me go back to firewall and let me go to networks, and under the Global Protect section we have the gateways. So let me click add, and here we have few more configurations than the portal. So let me put GP, and the interface should be the same interface here, and the IP should be this. And here actually we do not need these things, it's not mandatory. Let me go to authentication section, and we can select whatever the TLS service profile we created previously. And client authentication section, let me put the name GP, and here also we can use the previous authentication profile we created. That's okay. Let me click OK, and let me go to agent section. Here we have a few things. So here actually we are creating something called tunnel mode, and here we have to create a tunnel interface. Let me click click this drop down, and we can create a tunnel interface. And let me put, let's say, a number. You have to put a number here. Let me put 1, and the virtual router for this virtual route, the tunnel interface should be our default virtual router. And the security zone, actually we have to create a separate security zone. So then in that case, actually normally when it comes to Palo Alto firewall, it's a zone based firewall. So when we are putting policies, we have to select the zone, source zone and the destination zone. So here the zone for the global protect is let's say GP. So we can allow traffic from GP to whatever the internal servers. So that means we can restrict things. So here I'm creating that zone. Let me put GP. You can put whatever the name you like. So for the tunnel interface, that's it. So it's created. We don't need any IP address here. So let me click OK. So that's fine for this interface. And let me go to client settings. Actually now we are creating the client settings. And here let me put the name, let's say GP. And for this source user, so these things we can put, we can keep the default. And let me go to IP pools. So one moment. Okay, we can go to IP pools, and actually the IP pool means, actually the thing is, when a user connected to the Global Protect gateway, so the user is going to be assigned a new IP range, like it's kind of a DHCP IP. Each and every user getting IP automatically for that connection. So I'm putting, let's say 172.16.1.0/24. But when you are configuring this IP range, be sure that this IP range is not used within your network. I mean, you should not use like that way. Then you have to use some other IP range that is not being used within your network. Keep that in mind. So that's it. And also then we have to go to split tunnel. Actually, this split tunnel means this, when a user connected to the Global Protect, so then we can tell the firewall, so we can tell the Global Protect, these are the only destination networks that should be routed through the Global Protect. So that means, let's say I'm connected to the Global Protect, so I'm typing 192.168.10.1. So if that is mentioned here within this section, so then that IP range is going to be routed through this my connection, the remote access VPN connection. But if I'm not going to put anything here, so that means if I'm going to access the internet, that connection also going to be routed through the VPN connection, the remote access VPN. So in that is a problematic situation sometimes. So in that case, I'm putting let's say my IP range for the server range. I think my network range is 192.168.100.0/24. I'm putting it here. And let's say if you want to exclude certain IPs from here, so you can put it here. Okay. So then now when I'm connected to the Global Protect, only these IPs belongs to this network is going to be routed through the VPN connection. Others are not going to routed through the VPN or the remote access VPN connection. So that is called split tunnel, and those are the things that we can configure here. Actually we have many things, but for the moment we do not need those things. Let me click OK. And client IP pool, actually this is not required, because actually that is a common thing, but we did it here, IP pool for this configuration. Network services, connection settings, these are not important. Okay, now that's fine. Those are the things we have to configure. Now we can click OK. and now we can click commit. I think I did not miss anything. I think we did it everything. So after that, we'll try to connect to this portal. Uh, let's wait for the commit. 98% completed. Actually, we have one warning. It says Zone GP does not have enable user identification. Yeah, actually, we miss one thing, but for the connection, it is okay. But when it comes to security rules, because we can restrict users using source user, but that cannot be done for the moment because actually we didn't configure one thing. We do that later. Let me click OK. So now let me try to connect to this portal. I'll be getting that error saying the certificate is not trusted. I think I have copied it, right? Name. Okay. Now let me try to connect. Yeah, the gpfirelife.com certificate is not with its problem, not with its valid period. Actually, this is a different problem. Actually, because I think the today date is it's 2023. May 31st, but my file's date is somewhat different. Yeah, it's 30. Let me check the certificate date. Okay. It says it's not valid before May 31st, 2 a.m. May 31st, 2 a.m. 2 a.m. May 31st. But it's May 31st, 2 a.m. Now it's May 31st, 3:45 a.m. It should work. I mean, we have this certificate trust issue, but let me cancel and try. Let me see the certificate. Okay, here it says the valid 31st. Okay, actually, we'll check that. But it should work. We should get the certificate error, but here we are getting something different. The gpfirelife.com certificate is not within its valid period. So because it says that when it comes to a certificate, there's a valid period, right? The let's say it is from January 1st to December 31st. So that way we should have a validity period. Here when it comes to this certificate, actually this is let me open it again. GP cert. One moment. Actually, this is not required, but I need to check something else. Okay, and here GP cert, here the not valid before May 31st. Okay, that is today time is May 31st. That is fine. And my time is 3:46 a.m. Here the time is 2:35. So then this should work. Okay. Okay, let me try it again because it's the same day. Sometimes that can be the reason, but the time is somewhat different. Okay, let me try this. I think it's the same day, so let me try to change because actually this is not a common thing, but here we have this issue. So let me change the date and let me put let's say first of how to take okay date. Let's say June 1st here within my machine. That should be the issue. So for the moment, let me put it here. Change. Okay, now June 1st. Let me try because if it's a very period problem, it should resolve. Okay, now it's fine. See, now we are not having because actually the certificate creation date and the my machine date is the same. The date is same actually. Time is there's some difference, but when it comes to when we are getting a certificate, so actually the there should be some date gap, the creation date and the the current date. So if it is created before the today date, so then that would be fine. So here it's fine. So it says the gpfirelife.com certificate is not signed by the trusted certificate authority. Now the previous error gone. Let me click cancel uh, and let me put this certificate here. Let me install it here. uh, I told you that since we are using self-signed CA certificate, actually we need to install that self-signed CA certificate within the users, I'm sorry, within the users trusted certificate authority store. So that's what I'm going to do here. uh, okay. Okay, let me go into device tab and certificates. Let me download this certificate, export. Actually, we do not need the private key for the actually we do not need it, because actually this is only for the verification purpose. CS, only the CS certificate is going to be installed within the trusted certificate authority store. Okay, it is downloading. So let me get the our certificate store. You can go to MMC and open. Let me click OK. So here you can go file and remove snappings and certificates, and let's say computer account, because it is going to be relevant to all the accounts within the all the user accounts. You click next, finish. Click OK. Now here you can see the trusted root certificate authorities. Within this store we have all the public trusted certificate authorities CA certificates. So we are going to actually we have the same name certificate here. Let me remove this, because actually I use this for some previous purposes. Let me remove it, otherwise there can be issues. Or let me right click and alt task import, next, browse and downloads, and this is the certificate. Let me select, finish. Okay, now it's done. Now it should work. We should and also I can show you that here also our previous error should also go away within the browser as well. See, now the browser says it's fine, trusted. It says the connection is secure. And also let me go to this agent and let me click here, connect. Now I should not get that. See, now I'm not I'm not getting that error. So I had to put my name here, Mahesh, and I'm putting my password here. Connect. Now it should be connected. So we'll wait. See, now it's connected. Now we are connected. And let me showcase that IP range, because within the configuration, I think you saw within the gateway, within this agent section and client settings, I put a range here. IP pools, I put 172.16.1.0/24. I told you that one of these IPs, IP within this range is going to be assigned to the PC, whoever remote access user PC. So let me go here and let me go to settings, and I can showcase you. Here the IP is 172, sorry, 172.16.1.1. Actually, this is the IP, because that is within that range, and you can see the user Mahesh, and that's it. So then what we can do is we can access our the PC through this the global protect connection. Actually we have one PC within this network. Okay, so then let's try to connect to that PC. Actually I have a domain controller here. So here's a domain controller. So let's check the IP address of this domain controller. This is the interface. It should be 192.100 or 150. So let me try to connect, because actually even though this is within my PC, because actually this is a virtual environment, right? So normally production environment, actually this firewall is connected to the internet, and users are from remote sites and they are connecting to the global protect. Then they are accessing the internal networks, but there's another scenario that internal users may also use global protect. So this is a separate thing, I'm not going to talk about it. Here the thing is, actually we needed to simulate this. Users from internet are connecting to the global protect remote access VPN and accessing these things. So let me showcase here, the domain controller, or just actually the PC. Let's say it's a PC. Here it is connected to these interfaces VMnet2, and this 3 is not required. Let me disconnect it. VMnet2, actually this is not actual. The interface is installed within my PC. Let me go to network connections here. Actually, you can see that I do not have VMnet3 here. So then actually I do not have direct access to this VM. I do not have access. But when it comes to Palo Alto firewall, actually my trust interface, this one is VMnet2, and this is also VMnet2. You can see right here VMnet2. So in that case, you can right bottom corner you can see right VMnet2. Here my PC VM firewall also having the VMnet2, that is my trusted interface. So let me go to interfaces and showcase you that it is also having 192.168 100 range IP. What's the problem? Let me refresh. Uh, Let me reload the interface. Okay, here see 192.168.100.254. So in that case, if I can connect to the firewall using Global Protect remote access VPN, I should be able to connect to the VM. But here, let me check whether I can access remote desktop of this VM using without connecting to Global Protect. Yeah, I do not have Global Protect connection activated. Disconnected. I should not be able to, because actually my PC does not have actual access to the VM using IP TCP IP 192.168 100.150. I shouldn't be able to connect, because actually even though this is installed within my PC, actually this network, actually if I need to connect to the this VM directly from my host machine, so then I should have that interface installed within my network connections. See, I can't connect. If you need to connect directly to the VM using IP connection, there should be a VMnet2, and I should put the same range IP like 192.168.1.1 or something like that. But here I do not have that interface, so that's why I can't connect. So what we can do is we can just connect global protect connection here. So because my firewall has access, my firewall the same range IP. My VM firewall trust interface also VMnet2, and this domain controllers VMnet2. So and also having the same range IP 100.255 and 100.150. Now let me try to connect here using a remote desktop connection MSTSC, and the IP should be 192.168.1.150. But still I can't connect. The problem is actually I do not have a security policy here. Let me just put a security policy. Let's say global protect DC access, and here I'm putting the source zone, that is GP, because actually users are coming from GP. I think you can remember that. Let me go back. I think you can remember that when it comes to property gateway configuration, we put the tunnel interface. When it comes to agent, here tunnel interface, and it is below this tunnel interface is tunnel.1. So let me go to tunnel.1 interfaces, tunnel, and this is the one, and you can see my security zone. So zone is GP. So that users are coming from that zone. So then I had to allow those users. Let's say GP access. Let's put a simple name here. Let me put GP, and destination should be trust, because actually my VM is connected to trust zone of the firewall. And application we can put just RDP, that is we are connecting to the MS RDP. And services now need this action is allowed. Now I should be able to connect, because now I have this access here. That we commit. We'll wait for the commit operation, because when we you do this testing or whatever the demonstration within the same machine, sometimes we have to be careful, because sometimes we have direct access to those VMs, so the users may confuse that whether I'm accessing directly or through the global protect. So here actually I do not have direct access. I think you saw that. I can reconfirm by disabling the global protect. So now let's try. Now I should be able to connect to my VM 193 global protect 100.150. See, I'm getting the window. See, let me try put my administrator think my domain is Palo Life and administrator. And let me put the password here. And see, now I can connect. See, I'm getting the domain controller here. So this is my domain controller. Okay. Let me close it here. And let me try by disconnecting Global Protect. Disconnected. And let me try it again because actually I want to confirm that I'm accessing through the Global Protect. Now I should be able to connect. I shouldn't be able to connect actually. I can't connect. It's trying to connect, but I can confirm that from the firewall monitor. I think this is important. From the monitor you can see the logs. It takes some time to get these logs propagated here because since it's a virtual machine, actually it's not like hardware. Virtual machine, I mean, I'm not telling that for virtual machine is not efficient, but the problem is actually I do not allocate much of memory and vCPUs because it's limited within my laptop. So otherwise, if hardware it's a purposely built thing, so then we are getting these things instantly. And also if you can allocate much of memory, you can have those things. See, now this is the log actually. I think let me filter it. Filter these. See, now we have connection from GP to trust and source IP is 197.168.1.1. That is the range which is allocated to my Global Protect agent. I think you can see you can remember that I configure that within the this connection. I mean the global gateways and GP, and here agent, and here client settings, and these settings here, this IP pool, not here IP pool 172.16.1.0. You can remember that. Let me go back to monitor and showcase that here. And this is a 3389 MSRDP. Okay, now it's fine. And the thing is actually you see that I do not have the source user because you saw that we got an error here in task. Not an error, it's a actually the warning. See warning, zone GB does not have enable user identification. So let's do that. So then you should be able to see the source user. So then within the policy actually you can enable by user here the source, and you can put the source user. You can put the source user here like Mahesh, and you can do that. So let me do that. Let me go to network and let me go to zones and let me go to GP, and there's a checkmark enable user identification. Now it's fine. And once I commit, I should not get that error or the warning, actually not error, it's a warning. Warning says that your GP zone does not have user identification enabled, so then you can't identify users because the other. So in that case, actually you can't use within the security policy. I think you can't use the source user as a restrictive parameter. So you can, let's say you have few users, you can allow by the username. It's important because let's say you have user call let's say Sagar, and we can allow Sagar only can access the domain controller. Let's say you have a user called Samyang, so Samyang can only access the Ubuntu server. So in that case, actually we can put restrictions. Now it's fine. So let me try to enable Global Protect again, and let me try to connect to the server, our domain controller using RDP. So then you should be able to see the logs, and within the log you should be able to see the source user, that is Mahesh, because actually we are connected as Mahesh. So let me try to connect to this, and now let me put the password here. So actually this is the Global Protect, so it's fine, and we are connected. Okay, it's fine. And let me go to monitor and see whether I can see source user. It takes some time because actually it takes some time to get these logs propagated within the firewall. We are seeing only the previous logs. See, now you can see the source user, now Mahesh. So then you can put the username here, and if someone has the access, I mean username and the password here using the Global Protect, they can connect. But if the rule, if I'm putting source user as Mahesh, so then Samyang is connected to the Global Protect, but Samyang cannot access the one controller because actually within this within this section, I had to put Samyang as well. So I think you got the idea, the how to configure the Global Protect. So actually Global Protect is a remote access VPN of the Palo Alto firewall, and we have two components, that is Global Protect portal and the gateway. So I showcase you how to configure both. So thank you for your time. Okay, bye.